Hello, fabulous friends. I just wanted to pop in today to be able to share something that happened in the last number of weeks that was really quite spectacular. And those of you that know me know that in the last couple of weeks, I was visiting in Ontario with my dad, who has been transitioning to an assisted living situation, who has had a pretty rough year. And my dad is 87. He just turned 87 on August 8th. We got to spend his birthday together, and we had a wonderful experience on that August 8th. But until that time in this transition with the health issues that he's been having in this last year, we've had an opportunity to explore some different ways of being able to connect and to ground and to center and to heal. So I wanted to share that with you today and just pop on and give you maybe a little gift of a tip that's working for my 87 years young dad. When my dad went into the hospital about 8 months ago, he had a lung infection that then allowed us to discover that he had congestive heart failure. And as you can imagine, and the doctors and nurses told us that when you have a lung infection, it's incredibly disconcerting because you actually feel as though you can't breathe, as though you're suffocating. And so it was very traumatic for my dad. And it was actually a downturn in his health because it was so frightening as an experience in the hospital. And he was in there for about a month. And so in the time that I was visiting, we explored meditation. And my dad is, if those of you that are watching on Facebook that know me know my dad is like the personal motivation guru. He's phenomenal. And he has always been focused on positivity, and he taught Brian Tracy training when I was young, the Phoenix seminar, but he's never done meditation. And so when we were in the hospital, I actually asked him if he wanted to learn how to meditate and that we would be able to do this together. And so we did. And I did this meditation that I do for my executive clients that I felt inspired to create a number of years ago for myself. And it's called From Fill to Flowing. And so he did this meditation while he was in the hospital. He came out and then he got quite exhausted from everything that he was going through, from the move from Northern Ontario to Southern Ontario, moving into this new assisted living situation. Hi guys, thanks for joining. Those of you that are popping on, thanks for sharing your time. Hi Gary, wow, good to see you. You are the meditation guy, so you understand, and I'm sure that this resonates with you if you're continuing to listen. So we went into through this transition of moving from Northern to Southern Ontario. It just became so much about the physical transition, moving your things and letting go of his home and his independent living and moving into this situation where he was now in with a bunch of other seniors, and they were lovely at the Birchmere in Aurelia. But there was, when I arrived to see my dad 2 weeks ago, he was very much inside his mind, that he could only see what was happening inside him, the anxiety, the frustration. He was doing his best to try and be positive, but when you don't feel well, we all know when we're in ill health, it's hard to see beyond just what's happening to us physically. And it's hard to get back to spirit. And so while I was visiting, the first 3 to 4 days, he has this beautiful view. He always has this view, but in the first 3 to 4 days, he wouldn't even open his curtains, and he was having trouble. He wouldn't even go onto the balcony. And really the place where he's living in physical space is a dream come true. He's living right on the lake. He has gorgeous trees. It looks down to Lake Couchiching in Aurelia. Physically, it's a beautiful space. But as I said, when we're not feeling well, we can't see what's beyond our initial realm physically. And so when I arrived, he wouldn't open his curtains, wouldn't go out on the balcony. And then we kind of pushed through that resistance. We opened the curtains. We talked about the past and how much my dad had enjoyed swimming and living in this beautiful environment. We sat on the balcony together. We took in the trees. We talked about how grateful we were for the nature that was around us and for the experience of challenge to allow us to grow beyond what we're dealing with in a moment, to be able to push through that challenge and to find a more evolved way of dealing with our life and being able to get back to spirit and get out of our physical bodies. And so I looked at my dad at one point and I said, We were sitting on the balcony and I said, Daddy, your gift in this world has been that when you face incredible challenge, you have this ability to see the gifts in that and to come out on the other side. And this last 6 to 7 months have been some of the most challenging of your life, because my dad was an athlete. He was always active. He has Parkinson's, but he was swimming 5 days a week. He was biking. He was, all of this was happening. And when his physical health took a downturn, he had to redefine who he was. And I said, Daddy, you have to find your way through this to see a greater gift in all of this, the way you always have and the way that you've taught me throughout my entire life to be able to do that. And I could see him move, this sparkle moved from the physical to, he looked right into my eyes and said, you're right, Jenny, I need to find my way back. And so in the next few days, we exercised together compassion, discussed where he was at now, why he was feeling the way he was feeling. Sometimes he could join me there. Sometimes he was just so exhausted he needed to sleep, or the anxiety would overwhelm him. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you today is about 5 days into the trip, he said, Jenny, in a moment of clarity, he looked right at me and said, will you walk me through that meditation that you did with me while we were in the hospital? Will you help me to get back there? Because I have to find a way back to seeing all of this that's happened to me in a positive light. I need to find my way back. And I said, absolutely, Dad. And it was phenomenal, the transition that happened. So over the course of my being in Aurelia and all of the emotional ups and downs within myself in just dealing with the changes in my dad and being back in my hometown, I had actually been out in the mornings running at 6:37 in the morning, and I was doing my meditation. And Gary, you'll appreciate this. We have taught, you do Qigong, and it's a powerful way of meditation and movement. So in my life, although I've not really focused on Qigong, but I appreciate and I respect, and you've shared that vision of yours and those movements with us, Gary. I kind of do my own movement meditations, my own inspired meditations and movement. And so I had taken this from fill to flowing meditation, and I had been out looking at the lake, and I had been doing this movement meditation. So I said, Dad, do you want me to teach this to you? Do you want me to show you? And he said, please do, walk me through it. And so the first step of it that I want to share this with you, and I'm going to take a side note from the story, and I'm going to just give you this meditation because it has been incredibly powerful in my own life, and I don't believe for 1 second that it actually came from me in this physical realm. It was kind of channeled through me. I've shared it with hundreds of clients and now with my dad, and watching how it's changed his life. So this meditation is about filling to flowing. So the first part of the meditation, there's 4 parts. And the first part of the meditation is filling yourself with light. So closing your eyes and just filling your physical body and your physical space with beautiful, white, warm light. Feeling that connection to whatever you call spirit, and getting back to that base of just feeling that light at the cellular level and knowing that it can heal you. The second part is heal me. You say in your mind, heal me. So the first is fill me, and you feel that light filling you. The second is heal me, and you breathe out any worries, anxieties, concerns, frustrations, and you just let them go. So you fill yourself with that light, and then you heal me and release any anxiety or worry. And then the third part is hold me. Because a lot of times in our life, we feel like we're on shaky ground. We forget that we're in this world, but we are not of this world. That we come in alone, we go out alone, but we're from somewhere beautiful beyond this. And so this whole idea of hold me is feeling those angels, that consciousness, whatever that spiritual focus is for you, that you feel that holding you and embracing you, knowing that you're safe, that you're loved, that you're accepted exactly as you are. And so again, your in-breath is fill me with that beautiful white light. Heal me, exhale all of your worries. Inhale, hold me, and feel that beautiful warm hug, that embrace of love and life and acceptance. And the last one is about taking all of that, because this is a process. You go through those different stages. But and you can stay in any of those stages that you need to. If you need to stay in that light and you just need to fill for a while. If you're feeling anxiety and you just need to heal and you need to just breathe out any of the anxieties and continue filling. And then if you're feeling unsafe, then you stay in that place of feeling held and safe and warm and knowing you're enough. And then the fourth part is about taking all of that and just saying, flow through me. And feeling that spiritual energy, that light, that love, that compassion, that kindness flow through you in everything that you think, in everything that you say, in everything that you do. And so I invite you to take it out for a spin. You'll find your own flow in that. You'll adapt it to what you need. You'll stay where you need to stay, move beyond what you need to move beyond. But for my dad, and for many that I've walked through with that, and as well as myself, there's something in those words, in that understanding and that knowing that allows us to just simply reconnect with what we know to be true about ourselves, to be able to feel that sense of peace within ourselves and to be able to flow in that. So how I use that meditation is sometimes when I'm feeling disconnected or I feel too connected to my ego or my worldly self, then I just need to feel that light and I just need to reconnect with where I come from and where I'm going back to in a peaceful, passionate way. Sometimes when I'm feeling unwell, if I have a headache, and our children do it too, and Todd as well, if we have headaches, if we have aches and pains, we simply stay in that state of fill me and then heal me. And breathing out. So for those of you that are just joining, again, there's 4 stages to this mindful meditation. And the first one is, thank you, Patricia. That first one is fill me with beautiful white warm light. The second one is heal me, breathing out worries, anxieties, frustrations. And then the third one is breathing in, hold me, feeling safe and warm and held and accepted. And the fourth is flow through me. And so how I utilize this meditation is when I'm feeling, again, if I'm feeling that anxiety or I'm feeling like a headache, I just spend time in that light and healing place. When I'm doing presentations and talks such as this, or when I am speaking in a group of people or I'm doing a workshop, I spend my time in meditation thinking flow through me. So I make sure that I'm grounded in that light, that I'm releasing any of the fears and anxieties that we know have nothing to do with spirit and everything to do with our worldly selves. And then what I do is I feel that holding, like I'm not in this alone. We are never in this life alone. Nothing that we do, nothing that we desire, nothing that we accomplish is done in solidarity. We are loved and energized by beautiful souls beyond this space. Whatever your faith belief system is, we are supported and loved and connected. And then we want to flow that through. We want to get out of the way sometimes to be able to flow what's right, what people need to hear with what we're inspired to offer the world. And sometimes that means getting out of our own way, because physically as a human being, we're limited and we don't want to live in that place of limitation. We want to live in a limitless world of possibility that we create by being connected to who we truly are at our core and delivering from that place. And so for my dad, this has been powerful, I think, because he was the one who taught me to get out of my own way, to connect to spirit, as he called it, to plug in, turn on, and tune in. That was my dad's words all the time growing up. Plug in, tune in, turn on, and tune in. And it was all about tapping into that spirit. And so we need to find systems and ways to honor that within ourselves. And if this is for you, I hope that it just offers you some inspiration, or an inspiration to create your own meditation, your own way of remaining mindful in every single moment. And for my dad, this has been beautiful because that was his propensity, was to be connected, plugged in, tuned in. But even at 87 years of age, when we are knocked off our stance, the way that we have always lived, the way that, my dad was athletic, he was always moving, He had that as a way of knowing that that's how he related to the world. And through illness, he was knocked off that stance. And we can all be knocked off our stance. The way that we position ourselves in the world can change in a heartbeat. 3 years ago, when I had a massive concussion, I had to redefine myself. And meditation, even though it had always been important in my life, it played a central role in my healing and development. And so I feel very blessed that, that my dad was open. And I hope that each of you, if you're watching this, there's a reason why you're watching it now live or later on in the recording. I hope that it speaks to you. I hope it brings you back to an understanding that you can have a connection with who you truly are at your core at any given moment, that you just need to find systems and ways to be able to tap back into that. And that is part of the work that we do, all of the work that we do through Project Yes Life, through this whole Mad Heroes that many of you who know me have heard about, that the book that we're developing. It's really about having systems and ways and tools, what we call extraordinary game-changing gadgets, to be able to tap into. And it's just a fun way of talking about systems and ways, missions that we can take on in our daily lives that help us to stay grounded and centered, and then allow us to boost who we are, to get back to who we know we are, that we are our core, or to elevate us to a new level so that we can live extraordinary lives that change the game. That, especially in this world, those of you that are paying attention to politics in the United States, that are feeling the energy of that shift in our world, it's really important at this time that each one of us, as we call it, tends our own garden, that we are taking care of ourselves and remaining in peace and connectedness and harmony within ourselves so that we can inspire those around us, so that we can elevate the energy in the world. So I hope today that served you. Thank you so much for those that could join live. I know we all have very busy lives, but I hope you took a moment to just breathe in that connection, to fill you, to heal you, to feel held and safe in the world, and to have spirit flow through you, because you deserve that. Every single one of us deserves that, and the world deserves that from each one of us. So I'm wishing you, thank you for the hearts and the love and the connection. I'm wishing you an extraordinary game-changing day in your extraordinary game-changing life. Until next time, bye-bye.